Lakeside Legends back at it with another episode. Chauncey, this one's for you. On March 2nd, Sunday, Lake Havasu lost a very, I don't even know how to explain this, man. A very animated, loving soul to suicide, unfortunately, and that's why we're here today talking about him. Chauncey, this one is for you, Mr. Honeyglaze. My name is Aaron. Everyone calls me Snacks. This is
Josh.
This is
Malachi.
And today we're talking about a couple things. We're talking about suicide. Unfortunately, Chauncey took his life. It's okay as men to open up and to talk. Our circle, our friend group is so open with each other.
Yeah.
And I think we're really unique in that perspective. We lay it all on the line for each other all the time. We're super honest about when I'm f***ing up or he's messing up. Oh, we got to watch cussing, by the way, for YouTube. He's messing up. Or, we tell each other. We're very honest and open about that. So I'm very grateful for you guys and the rest of our friend group.
Yeah.
But as men, we need to let each other know that it's okay to open up. You have bad days. Things are going to happen. Don't be afraid to talk and share your feelings. It's normal. These are things that you feel. You should be able to open up and share them with someone.
Yeah, I agree. We were kind of talking about it earlier today, but the biggest thing for men is you grew up in a society where you're like, not supposed to show emotion as a man and all this shit. You know what I mean? And it's definitely super important to talk to somebody, to open up, and it doesn't make you look weak. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you.
I think that's a big thing too. Is a lot of people are like embarrassed to open up. It's like, just open.
And it's not embarrassing. We all go through stuff. Yeah. Financial hard times, love life stuff. Women problems, whatever it is. Don't be afraid to open up to people that you love.
Yeah.
You got to get over that stigma.
You definitely got to, because it could save your life or somebody else's life or whatever, you know what I mean? So I don't know how it really works as far as like, obviously I'm not suicidal, but can you really talk somebody out of doing it? I don't know. I don't know. You probably could, but maybe postpone it, or just hope like, for the majority, when we talk about suicide for men, it usually has to do with financial, is what usually ties to it, because men are so dependent, right? You know what I mean? And they're so independent. So, they're providers, they're working their ass off, they're doing all this stuff, so that when you lose, when you're in a bad spot financially, then it could kind of hurt your ego a little bit, you know what I mean? So then you start to go into depression or, whatever. But I don't know, man, you got to talk to people. Yeah. You've lost friends before.
Yeah, the loss of life. You haven't experienced any loss yet, right?
Just my cousin, which was the roughest one for me because he was like my brother. We were hanging out every single day. So, and I lost him at 21, so he was super young. You know what I mean? And that was the hardest thing for me ever. It's still hard. It changed my whole life. It changed everything. But
it is life-changing, and that's something we don't really talk about. I lost my dad a year and a half ago, 2023, and I still deal with that every day.
Yeah.
But we wanted Malachi to come on here because specifically he's dealt with suicide.
Yeah.
One of his best friends before too. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was hard. He had everything going for him. Everything was great. Was in a long-term relationship, and him and his old lady got in this huge fight. She threw a wedding ring, and he went home, and it was hard too because he was like, we were all hanging out. We all had a bonfire that night, and they got in this big argument, and he like kept saying on the way home like, I love you, like, no matter what, I love you. And I was like, dude, like, stop saying, like, I knew what he was hinting at, and I was like, don't, I don't want to hear that. And so I was like, I'm not taking you home because I know it's at home, like, I'm going to take you to your parents.
Yeah.
And I remember dropping him off, like, at his mom's house, and it's this huge fight. I'm not getting out. I was like, Sean, like, please, dude. And his parents were, like, sitting there, like, trying to talk to him, too, and he just, like, took off running down the street, like, by the time I can get back, then... So we were north side of town. He lived far south side of town, so somehow he got ahead of us and got a ride and got home before we could get there. And I get there and, I found him from it. And it's just like, dude, that's like the hardest thing ever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like finding someone. So you can't even look at pictures, it's like the last memory, you have of them,
Yeah, that's rough, especially having to find them. It's crazy.
You don't want to see someone like that, I know I saw my dad take his last breaths, and often that's the image that I see when I think of him. So dealing with that is hard. Some signs, like let's just talk about Chauncey, for example. He was very open and honest about his life. Like this dude would post financial statements.
Negative
Negative.
$300 in his bank account.
Yeah,
like,
and then he would post, but he's still moving forward. You know, he's gonna have a good day, and it's just really hard when you see someone going through turmoil, yet they're so positive. They're uplifting towards everybody. Like this dude was unique.
yeah.
You guys, you knew him a little bit. You knew him probably a little bit more than Josh, but you're a very positive person. You know, he's like you on steroids.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and everywhere he went, everyone knew him. He had a nickname for someone.
And everyone loved him.
Yeah.
Everyone loved him.
And I hope he knew that.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's super scary. You know what I mean? When you really can't tell. So as happy as he was, every time I saw him, he was super happy and super positive. But you just really can't tell when people are going through stuff. You guys saw signs, right? Because you guys were closer to him than I was. But from the outside looking in, from just a different perspective, I would have never thought that he was in any trouble. You know what I mean? Mentally or anything like that. And it's hard. It's hard to tell.
You just never know what someone's going to.
Absolutely.
You know? And it's like another thing too, like we've talked about before, like everything that you see on social media, you know, isn't exactly what it is, you know?
Yeah.
You know, him would be posting this uplifting stuff and then he puts his phone away and he's just going through it. You know, it's like, I really think his biggest thing is he always wanted to make everyone around him happy. You know, like that was his biggest thing is he just loved seeing everyone smile, you know?
It was pretty bad, dude. I mean, he worked with me, you know, from time to time. I'd help him out. And he left a lasting impression on everyone he met.
Yeah.
Some people don't have personality, and that's fine. You know, they're just not out there like that. But he was out there like that, in your face. You know, he was in like a referrals group.
Yeah.
He made tons of friends. Like a lot of people knew him in town. But it's just like, you never really know what someone's going through. Check in on your people, you know?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Don't take life for granted. Tomorrow's never promised for anybody.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, this specific case, he was always open and positive about his stuff, dude. He was in turmoil, and he wasn't shy about saying that. His last 2 posts on his story, one was about depression, you know, and then the one after that was he was showing all the stuff he had, and it was really eerie because I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was like shutting off light switches in his trailer, you know, and he was talking about all these possessions don't mean anything if you don't care about life. That's exactly what it said. You know, and he was filming all of the different stuff he had there. For those curious, you know, Chauncey was, I think he spoke to his boss like around 8:30 a.m. So he did go out that night. A lot of people saw him at the bars and he was having fun. Everyone said they saw him and he was having a great time. And then Big Ash, he'd always talk about Big Ash. She went to his trailer at 6 o'clock and, you know, she found him, unfortunately for her. Such a horrible thing to go through, but actually, Chauncey, in that respect, he was open. He wasn't afraid to talk about his stuff. You know, so if that could shed any light on people, don't hesitate. You know, to reach out to someone and just talk about things.
Yeah, I mean, and then a lot of people too, like know, like you know, like this friend isn't always gonna talk about his feelings. Call him, you know, like just call him, check in on your friends. Like that's like a huge thing too, you know.
You know when something's off. You know your people. Like if there's something off, you know. If there's something off with me, you guys know.
Yeah.
So I promise to always check up on you guys. There's been times where you just go ghost and just want to chill out, and I check up. You know?
You always, both of you guys will text me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, miss you, love you.
Yeah.
You know.
Value your people, dude. How do you? I'm trying to give us more value out of this video. How do you go about opening up to someone?
Man, it's even hard for me. You know, it's hard for me to do it sometimes too. My person is my mom, so I can, you know, I'll go to my mom and talk to stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody, I think, has a person that they could probably feel comfortable doing. But I don't know. It's tough to be in a vulnerable situation like that.
And I think it's part of the trust too. You know, like you know, like you want to find that one person you trust, you know, because sometimes you may be going through some stuff that you don't want everyone to know. You know, so it's like I think just finding that one person like that you're trusting. You know, because like me, I can't just open up and talk to anyone. You know, it's like I just have my people. You know, that I can just always call or, you know, go and talk to. And it's like sometimes you just got to find your person. You know. Whether it's a stranger sitting on the bus stop, you know, or you know, a friend, a family member, someone, a colleague.
And don't take any, I don't know if you want to call them threats. Don't take any of that with a grain of salt. You know, if you say something, if you guys say something stupid, like, I'm gonna be serious. Like, you have to do that. If someone says something and a red flag goes up in your head, be wary of that. You know, check in on them, and you just never know.
Yeah,
It sucks, dude.
It does suck. It does suck. And everybody has their breaking point, right? Whatever that is.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like to, I've always said I could never put myself in this, or never imagine myself in a state of mind to do something like that. But how do I know? I mean, you don't know. You know, you get into a position where you're in a super dark place, or when something happens, and then, everybody's got their breaking point. Some people can handle shit better than other people, and then some people can't. And it also depends on what it is. Not everybody's good at handling certain things.
Yeah.
You know,
Not everyone's equipped with stuff like that.
Right.
Is equipped to do that, or you don't learn those things until you've gone through stuff like that.
And it's hard too, because like when someone is going through it and they want to take their own lives, like when they are set in their mind, they're set. It's like ain't nobody gonna stop them. Like me and you were talking about, like the people that actually do it don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
If you notice, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just done with life. I just want to end it, and they never. What's the word I'm looking for?
You don't see it coming.
Yeah, it's like
there could be signs there and stuff, but I mean, I guess for the most part, they're cries for help. And the ones that go through with it, go through with it. I mean, I'm sure you guys have had those thoughts. I've had those thoughts before.
Yeah,
when I passed away.
had them, yeah.
And it's just, dude, suicide. Like, I understand, like, you might be going through stuff, and it's hard for me to say because I've never been in the position where it's like I feel like I can't go on. But suicide hurts your loved ones so much more than you can imagine.
And I don't mean this to sound rude at all, but it's a very, very selfish act.
It is.
Very selfish. It's taking all your problems and all your feelings and putting it onto everyone else.
You can fight through anything, dude. Money comes and goes. Like relationships come and go. But hurting the people that you love. You guys know I dealt with another suicide recently to someone very close to me, and you see what it does to them.
Yeah.
It's horrible, dude.
It's like I've always said, like, just because you have a bad day doesn't mean you have a bad week. Just because it's a bad week doesn't mean it's a bad month.
Right.
And every bad month isn't a bad year. It's like just because you're going through that rough little period of life, doesn't mean that it's not going to get better.
Yeah.
Every road you drive on is going to be smooth at one point. It's going to be rough at one point. Just it's like a mindset. It's like
yesterday was rough, dude. I had another friend of ours taking a bunch of pills last night.
Oh, yeah, I know. What?
Because she was drunk. And that's it.
Yeah, wild.
Pills is crazy too. It's like they get to that point too. You don't sometimes like when it comes to like the street drugs and stuff too. It's like they don't know what they're taking at the time.
Yeah, it's just not worth it, dude. You will hurt so many people around you, and these are people that you love. Your friends, your family. Like there are people out there that love you, and if you don't know who they are, like it's okay. Seek them out.
And
seek people.
Another thing too, like if you're depressed, like and you're there, don't be drinking alcohol either. Alcohol is a huge depressant,
Yeah, oh yeah.
And like, I've talked to people like my brother, like, I'll put my brother on blast. My brother was going through it like after my grandma died. And he was drinking all the time. He was just done and over with life. And then, he kind of just stopped drinking because he noticed like every time he was drinking, it was just worse and worse, And my dad like kind of told him, dude, like if you can't handle your emotion, like when alcohol's in your system, you need to stop drinking, and he stopped drinking too. And his mind's a lot better, since then. But like sometimes it's good to just take like a nice sober break and like relax, go on a hike. If you're feeling like depressed, go on a hike, like go walk in the channel, go walk in the mountains, the parks, like, don't just sit in a house and keep your emotions this little ball, like
don't recluse. The kid makes it worse for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talked with Big Ash, and she said he was having a hard time getting out of bed, for a couple weeks leading up to everything, And he had an episode about a month ago. The same thing. He had a gun, and she found him. She took the magazines and stuff, but she never took the gun. It sucks, dude.
And I bet, she's feeling too, like, I wish there was more I could do,
That is like the worst feeling. You don't want to leave the people that you love wondering what they could have done different, because that is not going to go away. That's going to stay with them for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit's wild, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's about.
It's not worth it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Dude, reach out.
But
If you're local, if you're not local, whatever, reach out to somebody, me, him. Like we'll all talk to you, even if we don't know you.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Life is, like Malachi said, it's not gonna stay wherever you are in that position. It's just not gonna stay. You know, it will get better. So
Just keep moving, dude. And I know, just to touch on that a little bit, like with Chauncey's specific case, you know, you hear things like day by day, take it day by day. Sometimes you don't have that day by day. It's like hour by hour, minute by minute.
Yeah.
So that little split second of whatever thoughts he had in his mind, like he was supposed to go to work, he could have blew past it and like made it another day, you know?
yeah,
Like you said, I don't know, is it just postponing the inevitable? Who knows?
it's hard to. I mean, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, no one knows.
And
Right.
sometimes too, like my dad always told me, a still mind is the devil's playground. You know, like that's what I was saying. Like get out, get active. You know,
Yeah,
go to work. Like don't, if you're sad, like just don't sit there and do nothing.
Dwell in it.
Yeah,
Fight your way out of it.
Go to the gym.
yeah.
That's about all I got to say about that. You guys have anything else
That's
to add?
it. No, I'm good.
Chauncey, this one's for you.
I love.
Thank you.